So, if you've glanced at the crypto market lately, you might just be seeing red. It kind of feels like a moment of hesitation, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely some nerves out there.
But what if those, flashing red signals are actually pointing towards something much bigger? Maybe a hidden opportunity right beneath the surface
Yeah,
that only the really informed players are seeing.
could be.
Today on the deep dive, we're going to pull back the curtain on what's happening with these market signals. We'll look at everything from dipping prices to massive options expiries.
And try to figure out what the so-called smart money is really up to right now.
Exactly.
That's right. Our goal today, really, is to cut through all that immediate noise you're probably seeing. We need to examine the raw data, look at various sources, and truly understand the strategic moves happening in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Because while, yeah, a lot of people are reacting with panic, maybe fear, seeing the downturn, we're going to explore a whole set of signals that, honestly, suggest something quite different.
A setup, maybe.
Perhaps even a setup for a significant shift, yeah, for those willing to look a bit closer.
And we've pulled together a pretty good stack of sources for this deep dive. We've got everything from detailed on-chain market analyses, institutional reports, insights from top analysts.
Covering the bases.
Trying to cover all the angles. Yeah, to give you a comprehensive but hopefully digestible picture.
Sure.
So get ready. Maybe have your perspective shifted a bit as we dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start by unpacking this current market snapshot. Because, on the surface, it absolutely looks like a downturn.
It does.
Take Bitcoin. It's sitting right at a crucial $108,475 support level. Now, it is down 6.29% this week, which, for many might feel alarming.
Sure.
But here's the key detail, and our sources really emphasize this. It's holding steadfastly above that psychologically really important $107,000 zone. It hasn't just collapsed.
Right.
That floor is holding for now. And if we look broader, the overall market cap, yeah, it has dropped. It's sitting around $3.78 trillion now.
But, and this is important, this isn't necessarily a purely bearish sign. Some perspectives suggest that, well, for those with a longer-term view, these conditions might actually be a strategic entry point.
Setting up for something later.
Exactly. Our sources point out that similar consolidation phases, like this sideways movement, have often come before strong Q4 rallies. So maybe a pattern for patient investors. It feels more like reevaluation, not, total capitulation.
Okay, reevaluation. And speaking of things causing a stir, our sources flagged one event today that really stands out. A massive $15 billion options expiry.
Oh, yeah.
$15 billion with a B. That sounds critical. How does something like that usually impact the market dynamics?
Yeah, that's a really critical point. So for anyone less familiar, options contracts basically give traders the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell an asset like Bitcoin or Ether at a set price by a specific date.
Gotcha.
So when you have $15 billion worth expiring on a single day, like today, it creates immense volatility, like unprecedented levels sometimes.
Right.
It's kind of a necessary clearing of the decks, positions get closed out or maybe rolled over into new contracts.
Right.
And this event, combined with yesterday's unexpected Binance futures outage.
I saw that.
Right. That created what our sources are calling a perfect storm of selling pressure.
Okay.
It pushed prices down, triggered a whole cascade of liquidations, where leveraged positions get forcibly closed.
Margin calls.
Exactly. And generated precisely that kind of red flash you mentioned earlier. And this is really crucial if we look beyond the immediate headlines. Institutional money seems to be telling a very, very different story.
Okay, that is crucial. Because while the headlines are screaming red flash and perfect storm, our sources say institutional money paints a different picture. And within that story, one asset seems to be emerging as, well, kind of the dominant player amidst all this consolidation. Ethereum.
It truly is, yeah. While Bitcoin's been consolidating, sort of moving sideways, Ethereum is absolutely stealing the show. It outperformed nearly every sector in August 2025. Yeah, and the data showing this dominance is pretty compelling. It really showcases institutional adoption happening at scale.
Like what? Give us some numbers.
Okay, so ETH exchange-traded funds, ETFs, right? The things that let investors get exposure without holding ETH directly.
Yeah.
They surged an incredible 44% this month alone, grew from $9.5 billion to $13.7 billion in assets.
44% in a month.
In a month. And it's not just ETFs. Corporate treasuries now hold a staggering 4.4 million ETH.
Wow.
Which is worth like $19.2 billion. An eye-watering amount.
That's serious commitment.
And there's more. Monthly decentralized exchange, or AX, volume hit an all-time high, $139.63 billion. That signals deep, fundamental use of the network.
Right, not just speculation.
Exactly. And for the chart watchers, the technical analysts, Ethereum just broke an 8-year downtrend against Bitcoin. That's a massive technical signal.
Okay, stealing the show feels like a strong statement, but those numbers, an 8-year downtrend breaking, that feels incredibly significant on its own.
It is.
But what else really solidifies Ethereum's lead here? Especially thinking about Bitcoin's traditional dominance during these kinds of shifts. How do we know this isn't just a few big players, but a widespread, deep institutional move?
Yeah, good question. That 8-year downtrend break against Bitcoin is a major signal. It really points to a fundamental power shift, potentially. But beyond that, it's the combination of those surging ETF flows and the huge corporate treasury holdings. That tells us this isn't just speculative retail interest driving it.
Right.
These are large, sophisticated entities. They're making long-term strategic allocations when major corporations decide to hold billions of dollars worth of Ether on their balance sheets.
Yeah.
And regulated investment vehicles see that kind of rapid growth. It just signals a maturity and trust in Ethereum's ecosystem that goes way beyond a temporary pump. It feels like a foundational re-rating of its value and its utility.
That deeper context is vital. Okay, so let's shift gears slightly and talk about the whale watch activity. Our sources highlighted this as maybe the most telling sign of what's really happening beneath the surface noise.
Yeah, following the big money.
This is where the true smart money is swimming, right? It's almost like watching a high-stakes chess game play out in real time on the blockchain.
It absolutely is. And the really intriguing part is looking at the specific examples of whale movements that our sources track. It gives you a real-time glimpse into their mindset.
Like what? Any standouts?
Well, for instance, one whale was spotted selling 1,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately opening a massive $433 million leveraged Ethereum position.
Leverage. So they're borrowing to amplify the bet.
Exactly. Amplifying potential gains, but also the risks, obviously. Using borrowed capital to increase their market exposure significantly.
A bold move.
Very. Then there was another intriguing case. A dormant address hadn't moved anything in 12 years.
12 years. Wow.
Suddenly moves 750 Bitcoin, worth about $83 million at the time. These aren't impulsive moves, they're calculated.
Clearly.
We also saw a massive dump, 24,000 Bitcoin, valued at an incredible $2.7 billion.
No.
That triggered about $800 million in liquidations across the market, forcing a lot of traders out of their positions. But the critical translation here, what analysts observed, is that the smart money rotated straight into Ethereum.
Ah, okay. So zooming out then, these actions seem to clearly show the big players aren't just fleeing crypto in a panic.
No, not fleeing.
They're strategically rotating, moving from Bitcoin to Ethereum. It's not a retreat from crypto overall, but a sophisticated repositioning within it.
Precisely.
Yeah, I remember seeing a similar kind of quiet rotation in another market years ago. Caught a lot of people off guard. Does this current shift in crypto, does it have echoes of those past patterns, maybe in traditional finance?
It absolutely does. It echoes those past market shifts where capital rotates towards what's perceived as the next big growth driver.
Yeah.
What's maybe different here is the speed and, well, the transparency thanks to blockchain data. We can actually see it happening more clearly.
Sure.
This internal migration within crypto suggests a maturing market. Institutional players are getting more discerning. They're not just making a broad crypto bet anymore. They're identifying specific technologies, specific ecosystems, like Ethereum, apparently, that they believe offer superior growth potential and utility down the line.
So the implication is a future where capital flows more strategically.
Yeah.
Based on tech and adoption, not just overall sentiment for Bitcoin.
I think that's exactly what it implies. Bitcoin might not be the sole bellwether forever, or at least capital allocation could become much more nuanced.
That's a fascinating insight into market maturity.
Okay, but while, so much focus is naturally on the big two, Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Understandably.
our deep dive also uncovered something interesting, maybe a hidden gem that's quietly building something massive. Polygon.
Ah, yes, Polygon. Definitely worth watching.
What's the story there? Well, Polygon's growth and adoption metrics are actually quite impressive. They really speak to its underlying utility. It's seen monthly growth around 10%. Trading volume hit 826 million POL tokens.
Okay.
There was also a major listing on an Indian exchange recently, which is creating brand new demand flows for the token.
New access, new buyers?
Exactly. But what truly stands out, I think, are the significant real-world use cases. This is what solidifies its utility beyond just market speculation.
And what kind of use cases?
Well, for instance, the U.S. Department of Commerce is actually publishing GDP data on the Polygon blockchain.
Really? GDP data?
Yeah. And the Philippines government is using Polygon for budget transparency.
Wow. Okay. That's not trivial stuff.
Not at all. These demonstrate Polygon's scalability, its security, and the trust it's gaining from established institutions for critical real-world applications. That's significant validation beyond just, speculative trading. It's solving actual problems.
That kind of real-world integration is a huge differentiator.
Okay, so technically, from a chart perspective, what's its setup looking like? Any potential for growth there?
From a technical standpoint, Polygon, or POL, is currently testing support right around $0.38.
Okay.
But analysts looking at the charts are seeing a very strong potential upside, like 53% aiming for $0.90 if it manages to break the resistance level around very 58 cents.
So 58 cents is the key level to watch.
That seems to be the hurdle. If it clears that, there could be a significant upward move. So, for you listening, what stands out to you about Polygon's quiet ascent here? Could this really be the next big wave people are missing while they're focused on the BTC ETH drama?
It certainly makes you think beyond the obvious headlines. Okay, let's broaden our scope again. Let's talk about what our sources are calling the corporate treasury revolution.
Ah, yes. This is big.
This might just be the biggest story nobody's really talking about right now, but it's quietly reshaping how major companies manage their assets. It really is. And it speaks volumes about the underlying structural demand that's just beginning to unfold. I mean, the accelerating corporate adoption of both Bitcoin and Ethereum is just undeniable at this point.
Give us the scale.
Okay, so treasury companies, these are firms managing corporate cash, currently hold a staggering $70 billion in Bitcoin.
$70 billion.
Yep. And they're sitting on $23 billion in unrealized gains on that Bitcoin. That shows real long-term conviction, right? Beyond just short-term price swings.
Definitely hold them strong.
And it's not just Bitcoin. We saw major moves like Bitmine buying $2.2 billion worth of Ethereum.
Okay.
A huge factor driving this, according to our sources, is increasing regulatory clarity. They mentioned something called the Genius Act.
Genius Act.
Yeah, apparently legislation designed to streamline digital asset regulations. By providing clearer operational guidelines and reducing perceived risks, it's basically unleashing institutional demand. Big players feel more comfortable jumping in.
Makes sense. Less regulatory uncertainty equals more confidence.
Exactly. And the point is, this isn't just market speculation driving prices. This is structural demand. It's not going to just disappear overnight.
That regulatory clarity really does sound like a potential game changer for the big institutions. Okay, so let's try to tie this all together. With all these complex factors playing out, the options expiry, the institution rotation to ETH, the corporate adoption, these technical setups, what does it all mean for the immediate future? And maybe beyond? What can we realistically expect?
All right, let's break it down. For the short term, say the next 7 days or so,
No.
our analysis suggests Bitcoin will likely test that crucial $105,000 support level. Might dip down there before we see a bounce, basically absorbing some of that leftover selling pressure.
Okay, a retest.
Ethereum, though, fueled by that continued institutional rotation we've been talking about, it could surge, maybe towards $5,000, maybe even beyond, potentially leading the market recovery.
Interesting. ETH leading the charge. And altcoins.
Altcoins will likely stay volatile, choppy, but there will be selective opportunities for sure for those who are watching closely and really understand the underlying utility of specific projects, not just a broad alt season yet, perhaps.
Gotcha. And looking a bit further out, say medium term, maybe towards Q4 of this year, 2025, what are the bigger trends predicted?
Yeah, this raises some interesting questions about future potential. We saw one analyst, based on some pretty meticulous cycle analysis, predicting Bitcoin could hit an astonishing $256,000 by December 3rd of this year.
$256,000. Wow, that's ambitious.
It's ambitious, yeah, based on historical cycles. For Ethereum, the targets are more in the $7,500 to $10,000 range, driven again by those persistent institutional flows and its growing ecosystem utility.
Still very significant growth.
Absolutely. And we'd expect a proper altcoin season to likely kick off once that ETH ratio confirms its breakout, meaning once Ethereum is clearly and significantly outperforming Bitcoin over a sustained period. That usually signals a broader risk-on appetite spilling into altcoins.
Like the capital flows downstream. Exactly.
Okay, so to kind of synthesize the core insight from this whole deep dive, what we're seeing on the charts right now, this red flash, it's not just random panic selling.
Doesn't look like it, no.
It seems to be a really complex strategic repositioning, mostly by institutional players who are maybe leveraging these moments of volatility to their advantage.
Exactly. And the unique combination of factors right now makes this dip feel different from some previous ones. It's quite compelling when you line them up.
How so?
Well, first, you have that massive $15 billion options expiry clearing the decks. It's like hitting a reset button, clearing out leverage, and setting the stage for new position.
Okay, the overhang is gone.
Right. Then there's the accelerating institutional adoption of Ethereum we detailed. That provides real fundamental strength, a new potential anchor for capital in this space. Add to that the significant corporate treasury demand we discussed. That provides a kind of floor, potentially preventing much deeper crashes.
Structural buyers, exactly. And finally, the technical setups we've seen, particularly for ETH and maybe Polygon, seem to be aligning for a potential Q4 rally.
So market clearing, institutional fuel, foundational demand, and technical alignment.
Yeah, that confluence of events it's often seen during periods right before significant market shifts. It could potentially create, a really compelling opportunity, maybe even a once-per-cycle type opportunity for investors who are prepared to act against the prevailing fear.
Buy when others are fearful, as they say.
Something like that, yeah, if the analysis holds true.
Our sources even outlined some strategic positioning examples, just illustrating how these insights could be applied depending on risk appetite.
Oh, right, yeah.
For a more conservative approach, they suggested something like maybe 60% Ethereum to ride that institutional wave,
Makes sense.
25% Bitcoin, but using dollar cost averaging, DCA, on dips. So investing a fixed amount regularly, regardless of price, to average out the entry.
Lowering risk over time.
Right. And maybe 15% in select high-utility altcoins, like Polygon, Chainlink, Cardano projects with strong fundamentals.
A balanced approach.
And then for more aggressive traders, it was more about actively leveraging that ETH-HBTC ratio breakout, watching Polygon for that break above the amount of 58 cents, and constantly monitoring whale movements for those early rotation signals.
Much more active, yeah. It just shows the spectrum of strategic thinking this kind of data can inspire.
Definitely. So perhaps the question isn't whether crypto will recover. History suggests cycles happen, but maybe whether you'll position yourself before the next potential leg up begins.
And that really raises an important question for everyone listening. Based on these signals, what's your informed perspective on this market moment right now? Are you seeing just a red flash of fear or maybe a green light of opportunity? Food for thought.
Absolutely. And one crucial reminder before we wrap up. Cryptocurrency trading involves substantial risk. It's volatile.
Very much so.
This deep dive, all the analysis, everything we shared today, it's strictly for educational purposes. It is not financial advice.
Please no.
Always, always do your own research DYR, as they say in the space. And never, ever invest more money than you can comfortably afford to lose.
That's the golden rule.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We really encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those important questions about this fascinating space.